Welcome back to Seablock. I just want to quickly look at our crushing area. It's doing pretty well. You can see the crushing belts are fairly well stacked and proceeding just fine. However, you do see occasionally surges of different types of geodes that we need to deal with. So I thought, well, I got a commenter from a guy called Bob Jones again, who's saying basically you're probably not going to be able to keep things inside these Factorissimo buildings because it's going to consume too much room. So he's probably right, to be honest. To be completely fair, but hey, it's worthwhile at least giving it a go. So in here I've put in some more crushers. You'll see that there are two extra crushers, one each for blue and for orange or red. It's close enough to either one, and those are because you get the chance of more of those than anything else. Everything else, apart from that, is the same as outside, apart from the output of this thing. There is a shared output belt that may not be enough, so I may have to rearrange this because one belt like this may not be enough. We'll see. And then, so I've got these two sharing, so I've got 5 crushers sharing. And then I've got these 3 and these 2 sharing. It's just that they're putting onto different sides of the belt, so that hopefully it should be fairly balanced. And then down here we've got 4 sharing. So it's much the same as outside. It's just that there's a couple of extra crushers on a couple of the belts. So we'll see. And on the outputs here we've got, and all this is the terribles class of belt, just while I've been laying things out. We're going to replace it all with the yellow belt, of course. And then I have a 3-to-3 belt balancer. If you don't know what this is, it is a count perfect 3-to-3 belt balancer. Not that I particularly think we need a belt balancer here at the moment, because we're not sending each of these 3 belts off to a specific place where you want them all even. They are going to be basically merged back together really clumsily here at the end. But if I did want to expand that in the future, I have the room to basically build that belt balancer inside, so I don't have to worry about things on the outside. So like the idea of having in here. If we don't need it, it's cheaper to just get rid of it and replace it, and of course I can reroute these belts to be a bit shorter by doing so. However, for the moment, that is that. So I'm going to hook this up and rebuild everything. Well, just basically all I need to really do here is basically feed in, and I can feed in 2 belts on the input right here. They go up and around. That is going to be up to this point, however, whereby the first one gets filtered off. At that point, we lose the 2 belts, so it's arguable whether I should just keep it to 1 belt to start off with. But hey, until that point, it's going to be fine, so I'll just leave it until that point. At least, you know, some of the geodes will be filtered out when it drops from 2 to 1 belt, and we can just leave it as 1 belt if we want to. So we're just going to need to send that in here, and then feed in the output, and then obviously deal with rebuilding all of this yellow belt. There we go, all upgraded, all on yellow belt, and everything is flowing quite nicely as far as that's concerned. 3-3 belt balancer is keeping all these outputs balanced, so everything is nice. And outside, I've moved it so it's in place with the rest of these. It's almost tempted to move these over to this side now, but hey, I'm not going to worry about that for now. But it is an awful lot of yellow belt that we could get rid of if we wanted to do that, and this is a bit ugly down here. But again, sort of a nicer way to do this was potentially maybe to have 2 of each of these for each belt here, and just have them nab the crystal dust off the belt, leaving the stone or something along those kind of lines. But you'd still have to have something to make sure it didn't, you'd have to put a filter on to take the crystal dust out. You don't want it to just be inserted like this, because then it could, if it doesn't keep up, it will let crystal dust go past, and then you'd end up with it in the stone supply, and ugh. But for now, this is actually looking quite nice. So also, of note, Bob Jones in the commenters did actually leave an Imager link. So have a look in the last video, and there should be a link there in his comment to all kinds of different setups he's done, which is a very well worth a look, I should say, and take a look for your own interest yourself. But in the meantime, let's get on with some more stuff this episode. I've got that rebuilt, so I've got some more space. I have been filling out more sand over here. I've had a couple of thousand sand to actually get rid of, so we're starting to expand that in this direction. Here's our original coastline. It's filled in mostly apart from where the pumps are, but other than that, we are pretty good. And of course, this constant flow of crushed stone here means that, yep, there's another 1,400, well, 1,400 sand total, and none of it is really well, hardly any of it is still making it past the mineralized water that we're using. So it's good. We are getting lots of land available, and of course we can just dump that at whatever convenient point that we can actually get to this with huge squares. Yep, that's more than good enough for me. And trust me, you will need this space. I mean, I'm going to go for, or I've already gone for, a really efficient way of containing things inside buildings. But yeah, that probably won't last forever. So after doing that, I tidied things up a little bit by moving this building for the Jivolite off into line with everything else. Oh, no, oops, I forgot. I can see something I've immediately forgotten, which would stop it from working, which is that last piece of pipe there. Yeah, because then it wouldn't get any mineral sludge. So, yep, off it's starting to work again. So that's now nicely lined up with everything else. And I've just redone the belts around here a little bit so it looks a little bit nicer. Yeah, these are going to be moved in line later. We're not going to worry about them. However, this over here, I'm finding a little bit ugly. I found it ugly for a while. I've got these two clarifiers up here and this hydro plant, the sulfur coming off. So we're actually going to tidy this up. We're going to base it around these 4 filtration units, and we'll keep it to 4, and we'll see whether we can fit any more in the building. Remember, we've got 2 inputs for each of them. One is mineralized water, one is the crystal slurry. We know both of those are coming from, if you don't remember, mineralized water is coming from all of this stone that's pouring to the left here. And we're also getting a little bit from the waste output. The waste output is sulfuric wastewater. It's turning into sulfur and 2 types of water. Both of which, if we ever run out, or if we get too much of it, we're dumping. As it happens, we're never going to run out of this mineralized water, and we can ensure that doesn't ever need the clarifier with the use of valves. Haven't really covered them because I've only really covered the overflow valves so far, but there are multiple types. Check valves. So pipe section that can hold 1000 U can be connected to a wire. Fair enough. Yeah, each of those. Non-return valves, overflow valves, converter valves, and top-up valves, etc. So yeah, so each of them does something slightly different. In this case, for example, the top-up valve allows a flow if the output side is below 80%. So, you know, this will only let it through if you're ever running out of supply. That's not what we want. Converter valve converts basically into angel mods fluids and vice versa. Don't need that. Overflow valve, so allows flow if the input side is above 80%. Well, we're already using those. One directional flow is maybe what we're going to use, and then finally yeah, that's just a check valve, so you can basically control it electronically. What we really want to make sure is that this is used by priority. It uses this first and then basically the other one. So I think what we may end up doing is actually this top-up valve, because if the output side is below 80%, it'll allow some flow through. Below 80%, yes, yeah. So if we connect this side to the input, whenever anything, let's say I put the input here, this valve here, this input side is going to come from our waste, and if that ever drops below 80%, i.e. most of, or nearly all of the time in fact, we'll have the valve open and it'll let other stuff through. And when it hits 80% again, it hits 80%, it closes the valve. So it will always try to take the output of this, so we never ever need the clarifier. But first of all, we're going to get a Factorissimo building, and it doesn't matter where we put it because we're going to just basically remove it after it's done. Let's get that sorted out. Let's connect this to power so it doesn't annoy me, and let's reformat these inside. I'm going to do that off camera because you've seen these before, so I'm really just showing you maybe an improved layout, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's see how good or bad I did completely blind. I'm going to pick this up, and hopefully it's going to be just fine when I put it wherever I want it. Give that a second. So wherever I want this, let's just put it down. So I probably wanted this in a line with all of these. All are probably displaced a little bit, so yeah. I'm going to need to get rid of that belt, aren't I? So why don't I just get rid of just some bits and pieces in here so I've got enough room in my inventory to pick that up. So let's just get rid of all this belt. Okay, so we know the output's going to be probably onto this belt somewhere. Okay, so let's just put our thing back down. I think I'm going to just try it at the same distance the others are apart. Maybe that's not actually... is that going anywhere? That is going somewhere. I can't just get rid of that. Is that at the same distance the others are apart? 1, 2, 3. I think it absolutely needs to be flush against that to make that work. So it has to absolutely be there. And then we'll just connect this up with power for now. Okay, and then we need to connect the internals. However, that's going to be a bit annoying. I'm going to have to move that. So all we're just going to do is just basically put down a couple of pieces here, and then a couple of pieces here, and that will work for now. And then if I've got that correctly connected, this can go right here. Okay, and there is my supply. Now I'm going to need to probably warehouse that. I haven't made warehouses yet, have I? Warehouse. I need iron plates. But I have iron plate. I should have plenty. Yep. Nice. We are getting a lot more of it. Warehouse. And by warehouse, it's basically a box. It's a large box, but it's still a box. And inside here, then we need to go and basically restart our whole crystal slurry line. So you'll see this over here. It's a little bit expandable. Basically, this size of building can only really cope with at the most 6 of these, and then you're really running out of space at the top. So I've moved things up 1, and it'll have a space for 5. It has inputs on the left for our filters. They will be charcoal filters now, but eventually there'll be ceramic filters, and that's not going to work, is it? There'll be ceramic filters. So the incoming filters will come in here. They'll come out onto this line. They'll get combined with charcoal at the top here. We're just going to put them on one side of each line. It's not going to be that much problematic to do that. You know, there's no real issue. And then it's going to get recombined, pushed back down and through, and everything else is pretty much the same. Remember here we are using the output. That's going around and feeding it straight into the machines, and then we've got our top-up valve here. So if anything drops down here below 80%, that's going to open and let in even more of the ingredient we want. And then we need to basically feed in, and that's another thing I have to connect. I need to feed in the last bit there, which is to connect the crystal slurry from the outside. So that means I am going to have crystal slurry here, and I am going to have just the... But I don't have that next one connected, no, do I? I did plan it out a little bit nicer than that. So I can have 2 of them like this. Okay, so that's our water line. This is our crystal slurry line. And then our incoming charcoal can come in right here. So we can, of course, use that existing line like this. Oh, look at that. Goes right through those 2 boxes and into the top. Good. All right, so then we just need to hook up the this water line, which is just this one, the mineralized water, just to go here. So again, very straightforward. Yep. I'm just going to go there, and that's going to be connected. So let's just get this done, and that's going to depower the factory, but this should be okay for the moment. And indeed, where is that? That saline? Oh, that's different. Okay, mustn't get those mixed up. That's fine. Anything else I need to hook up? Just the crystal slurry now, which is coming in here. And we're going to want to connect it basically like this. Okay, crystal slurry. That's going in. Yep. And this is no power. Because I disconnected it and then forgot to reconnect it again. Now it's got power. Okay. So incoming here, we have mineralized water. Yep, we have crystal slurry, which is good news. And then it just needs filters. Now, most of them are actually in my inventory because I picked everything up. So charcoal filters, I'm just going to distribute like the sort of this. Okay, and they should start moving. And then we'll just put some more on, just maybe on this input belt like this. And I can obviously handcraft them and it'll keep the same stock in the system. The main thing to watch out for here is, first of all, you don't end up with them just ending up on the end of a belt somewhere. That does remind me, I was talking about the end of belts. Thanks for a suggestion. I did decide to eventually go with a loaders mod. I haven't really used them for the moment. They are right here. I'll just make one so I can show you what they do. Basically, it just dumps stuff straight into a off the end of a belt at full speed for that belt, rather than using an inserter. They sometimes look a little bit nicer than inserters. Is that warehouse done yet? And I'll show you what I mean. It is huge, but it is quite capable. So if we imagine we have a warehouse here, and this is hard to move when you put them down, well, I hope they keep their actual thing. Let's just actually try that. So 184, you see just how huge this inventory is. Let's just dump that in and pick it up. Does it keep its inventory? It does not. Okay, that's important to know. If you ever try to move one of those things, you're going to have some problems. So yeah, basically our sulfur needs to go down there and into this building, where it's basically combined and made into sulfuric acid. So wherever we put this is going to be largely immovable. So we have to consider that carefully. But for now, I'm just going to put it, I think, right here. And then we have to basically feed into it. And I think, if I remember rightly, it can be fed in or removed at certain points. Can we move that at any point? Let's just use this loader. Let's just see if that will actually just accept there. Looks like it will connect. That isn't centered. This thing is an even number of blocks. That's awful. That's awful. But at the same time, we can, or should be able to, connect that. And there it goes. So we can connect them wherever we like. And for this box's sake. And we can build another one. Bear in mind, though, that they do cost 5 inserters to make. Just got to be said, and 10 electronic circuits. So if you like the look of them, all being well, good for you. But for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's quite expensive to actually run them. So I'll probably only use them in limited cases until I get a great amount more resources. So that can go there. Okay, and it'll do for now. Fine. So that will ensure we don't build up too much sulfur. And on the output here, what have we got? Anything started yet? So the output is a mineral slurry, and that's not being taken away yet. And that's basically what we have to choose where we want our output. So a mineral slurry, thankfully, would have come in here. Oh, look at this. Look at how, look. Okay, isn't that good? So if we connect up in the inside, this hopefully will work for a change. Let's get that down. And then we just need to connect up here. Will you stretch all the way out to there? You will. Good. And then this way. So then we just connect as we normally would. Everything is now connected up, apart from the last piece right there. And there's our mineral slurry. Off it goes again, and around everything goes. So our output is nicely going down here, being reprocessed into sulfur. The mineralized water is being used, and the purified water is being just clarified, and it's all in one building. There is nothing on the outside left apart from lots and lots of sulfur, which I can, I guess, move semi-manually. This is going to become a problem later, but for the moment, I can ladle it out and get everything tidied up. And there it is. Everything's nice and tidy again, which is good, because we have less space available here. What are we going to put down? Well, it's going to be another building, and it's going to be improving the setup we did last time, because over here we need to basically build what will be the sort of ceramic factory. That's going to be appropriate because this right here that produces sulfur, but it's also I can't really put a liquid thing in this box. I suppose I could put a barrel of something, but I can't really barrel anything up right now. But yes, this thing actually produces our mineral sludge. Also produces sulfur, so I'll just leave that there as the label. We are going to want, let's just get this connected up to power. This to produce the ceramic sort of stuff, the alumina that we had last episode, because we're going to be using it right here to basically make ceramic filters. And we can do that straight away if we wanted to, if we had enough resources. We may not have enough for now, but at least we'll have that all there. So all we really need to do is just take this chain here and move it indoors, and then reroute this basically belt of aluminium ore. And we'll swap these around, so it's going left, and then just send a belt going that way, along with all of these. That we have enough room in between the actual buildings to send it down here and, you know, into one of these slots somewhere. So I'm going to move all of that. And we're all moved in. Alumina factory up and running. You'll see there is some aluminium ore coming across. That's not particularly high supply yet, but we now have a warehouse inside. That was an idea I had because I wanted to get rid of this warehouse I had here, which I did. I put this inside as well, so the output here is going to go through this warehouse, keeping me a huge buffer inside of here, and I can move this building around. So I have this available. One quick tip, if you ever want to move massive amounts of stuff around, get yourself a warehouse, dump it down. And then if you want to transfer everything across, if you don't know how to do this, control and click on an empty space and move your entire inventory, at which point you've got a huge bucket to move other stuff around in. I don't need to do that very often, but having a warehouse on you to do it when needed is quite handy. So yeah, do think about that. Anyway, so in here, yes, we have large warehouse of sulfur. That should take quite a long time to fill up. out here. We then have a nice simple belt, and everything doesn't basically pile up wherever it goes. So yeah, I think we're doing pretty well this episode. Lots of tidying done. And maybe I need to, put some items down here to indicate what these are, really, so that you guys can spot it. I think what I'm going to do is maybe move these sort of wind turbines, either get rid of them entirely or move them across here or something between the episodes, just so that I keep everything out of the way of our growing sort of factory layout as it comes up and gets even faster, which is, of course, what we want to do long term. So today's been mostly a tidy up episode, obviously. We've moved our alumina indoors. We've moved, basically moved 3 different things indoors, I think, today. Is it 3? Yeah, because we've moved our crystal dust to start off with. That's looking great. We've moved basically our sulfur and all our crystallizers indoors. Nice setup there. And the same thing with the alumina. So that's 1500 iron gone just doing that. But you can see it is a little bit scrappy with lots and lots and lots of pipe work everywhere, but yeah, I suppose that's just unavoidable at some point in Factorio, having them be all over the landscape. Anyway, that should be it for today's episode. I think I'm going to leave it a little bit shorter. I've got a couple of 35-40 minute episodes in the last couple of days, so I want to leave this a little bit shorter, hopefully. And maybe I'm going to think about putting down some roadways around this whole thing. I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put them yet, but we'll see. Between the episodes, I may think about moving these to generate the crystal story in the first place, because we can dump them all over this side, over here, even inside a building. And anything we have to ship over from this side is the sulfuric acid, which is coming all the way from, where are you? From all the way from this left-hand side building. That's somewhat unfortunate. Because the only thing this thing needs is, well, it needs the sulfur wherever we put it, which means even if I ship the sulfur that way along with these, I'd still have to send that somewhere. So I can't really win with that particular thing. The only thing I could really do is sort of, put it right here and then have the sulfur be a short trip. But at the same time, is there anything else that we actually... Well, yeah, the sulfuric acid is going to come out of this side, and this is the hydrogen sulfide. So yeah, both of them are kind of needed. So I'll have a think about that one. If you've got any ideas, though, haven't seen today's episode, feel free to put them in the comments below, Bob Jones and everyone else who's contributing. Thanks very much for your comments. And I will take a longer look at that gallery that he posted to take a look there. How are we doing on power, by the way? Are we doing okay? We are doing fine. But of course, we can get even more steam engines here to produce more power if we need to. But we're being rather good with our power so far. So I'm going to continue expanding the island. You can see I've started to put more pumps in around the edge. I moved them out just to tidy up this a little bit, but we still do need to expand outwards and probably downwards as well at this point too. So yeah, we'll see you next episode for some more Seablock in Factorio. And I hope you're having a good playthrough yourself if you're following along. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Oh, let's get that going. We'll see you next time for some more Seablock. Feel free to like, subscribe, share as you normally would. Comments down below, and yeah, thanks for watching.